Hi everyone, welcome. FPLMattDay here. Game week 1 is finally finished. What a game week it was. Opening game week of the season. So many twists and turns, and it was so great to have FPL back. This video is a quick update with the latest game week 2 news with some differentials, captains, some of my favorite picks, and also that topic that we all want to know the answer to, Onana versus Matt Turner, which goalkeeper to pick for game week 2. If you are new here, please hit the subscribe button. Also, like the video. It only takes 10 seconds of your time, and get your comments in and let me know what you think of these topics that I am discussing today. But let's start straight away, and I'll share screen, and I'm going to go through 3 differentials for game week 2 that I like the look of for this game week. So here we go. I'll go through them on the screen here first and bring up that first one. So we'll go into the midfielders. And we know there's that big Liverpool versus Bournemouth game where a lot of people have moved to Mo Salah and the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold. But one player that is a differential for this week is Diogo Jota, at 3% owned, only 8 million as well. So if you've got someone like Phil Foden, who didn't really look like he didn't, wasn't that impressive in game week 1, you've got 0.5 in the bank. You can put that extra 0.5 in and go for Diogo Jota with this Bournemouth fixture in mind. My second differential is from Aston Villa midfielder Diaby at £6.5 million. And we saw how impressive he was on that first game week, classified as a midfielder, 7.2% owned. So he's still below that 10% selected. He scored and he was playing in a front 2 with Ollie Watkins. So he's got some huge potential, especially with this Everton game at home and then going into game week 3 against Burnley. And let's not forget, Everton lost at home to Fulham and they did look quite toothless as well, struggling to score goals. And I can see Villa winning this one and Diaby being an impressive pick. And let's go into my last differential, and it's going to be Nketiah from Arsenal, the forward, 4.1% selected. He's only 5.5 million, currently playing whilst Gabriel Jesus is injured, and he could potentially be out for a few months. He got 8 points, which included 2 bonus points with a goal as well. And he's just such a steal at £5.5 million. So that's my 3 differentials. Let's now go into my 3 favorite captain picks for this game week. So the first one, sticking on the theme of Arsenal, is Bukayo Saka. 10 points there on the opening match day. 8.5 million. Green fixture away to Crystal Palace. Scored here last season as well. So definitely a strong captain option. But he's only number 3 this week in the captain picks. And then let's go to number 2. And it's a man that usually is number 1, 90.3% selected, the highest selected player in the history of FPL. 2 goals in game week 1. Erling Haaland there away at Burnley with a couple of goals. This week he's got a tougher game at home to Newcastle, which puts him 2nd for captain picks this week. And I know it's probably a bit controversial because of how consistent he is, but you expect it to be a tighter game. It was only 2-0 in this fixture last year. So I think Haaland has to be 2nd instead of 1st. But let's go into my number 1 captain pick. And I'm going with that man, Mo Salah, the original king of FPL. Obviously, Haaland's currently taken that over. 12.5 million midfielder, home to Bournemouth. Only got the 5 points in game week 1 with the assist at Chelsea. But he did have a disallowed goal. He also hit the bar and he took up a lot of really good positions. Expect him to break his duck in this game week. He will be wanting to score a couple of goals in this one. He does not like to go longer than a game without a goal. So that's my 3 captains. Let's now go into my favorite picks for the game week as well, that maybe aren't necessarily differentials, but players that impressed me in game week 1. So I've got a couple here. And the first one is a player who I obviously really love being a Spurs fan, James Maddison at £7.5 million. 9 points on game week 1 against Brentford with 2 assists. It could have easily been 3 or 4 assists. He was absolutely everywhere. Took every corner, every set piece, was taking charge of this game, was also able to get a shot off as well. Really, really looking good in that Spurs midfield, and I think he's going to make them tick. And it is Man United at home, which is difficult, but they didn't look great against Wolves. They did get the clean sheet, but I can see this game against Spurs having a lot of goals. And if you get him in now ready, if you've got the space, you get that Bournemouth fixture, Burnley fixture, and Sheffield United fixture out of him. He's potentially a season keeper for me if he can stay fit. And right now, looks like he's going to be on great form. And then my second pick, I've gone into Brentford, and Brian Mbeumo also impressed me in that fixture with 7 points. Scored the pen. Also missed an absolute sitter from about a yard out as well, which he should have scored. He put it over the bar. But he was vibrant all game, really, really strong, quick, getting in behind that Spurs defence. And I think he's going to do the same over the next few game weeks, leading that line whilst Tony is out. So he's got Fulham there in this game week, as you can see, away from home. Palace at home, then followed by Bournemouth at home, Newcastle away, but then Everton and Forest after that. So he's got great fixtures at only £6.5 million. So someone to consider if you want to go sideways with maybe an Eze if you're not too sure on him yet, or any other midfielders around that price range. So now let's go into the topic for this podcast, and it is who to pick in goal between Onana from Manchester United or Turner from Nottingham Forest. So Matt Turner has just joined Forest from Arsenal. He played in game week 1 against Arsenal, did get a few saves, so he ended up with a save point, which was good. Still conceded 2 goals, but he plays Sheffield United at home, who didn't look great. They look pretty toothless going forward, didn't score a goal. They've got the early game on Friday. It's an early deadline. So I'm swaying towards having Matt Turner against a Sheffield United side that doesn't look like they're going to score many goals this season. Whereas Onana, who come out with 9 points, which is obviously a really strong return. It was at home to Wolves. It was also expected. I think they're going to go to Spurs this weekend and concede a couple of goals. There will also be that potential for him to get a lot of save points in this game. Ange Postecoglou Spurs are looking to attack games. So there's definitely going to be opportunities for save points. So he could come out with a couple of save points, but I do think they'll concede a goal or two. I can see that being maybe a 2-2 draw. On the flip side, if United do get that clean sheet, expect him to get a double-digit score. But I just can't see it. They didn't look great against Wolves. They were lucky not to concede a penalty at the end. So for me, I'd be bold and I'd pick Turner and hope Forest get that clean sheet on the first game of the game week, and then Spurs do the business and score some goals on Saturday night. Well, let's leave the stream there. There's some of my tips for Game Week 2, some FPL Game Week 2 news for you as well. As I've mentioned before, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, and get your comments in and let me know what you think, and if you've got any questions for Game Week 2. I'm FPLMattDay, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.